Hey guys, this is MATARIKA, and we have a special guest here today, Hampa, the creator of Toribash. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
I am doing pretty well. It's very hot here, and I'm from New Jersey, so this is really bad temperature-wise here. But I'll try to stay well for this interview.
All right, great. Yeah, it's been hot here too, but
All right.
getting better.
Well, great to hear you're doing well. I won't take too much of your time. I know you're probably a very busy person, so let's get down to it.
All right.
So when you first created Toribash, did you have any idea it'd pick up the popularity it had over the years?
Nope, not at all.
Oh, really?
No, that was a long time ago, so
Oh, so
it wasn't that many indie games or
yeah.
things that had taken off already.
I see. So what would you say, like, the overall purpose of Toribash would be? There are some games that are meant to deliver a very diverse and fun multiplayer experience. Some are meant to deliver a very powerful and impactful storyline. And if Toribash was, like, I could say, like a superhero, what would you say its goal and its purpose would be?
The goal was to create a very hardcore fighting game that had depth, but still was fun and a bit silly, so suitable for just to have fun, but still you could something that took a while to master.
Yeah, and that can like work with different personalities, because there's some people I see that play Toribash, you kind of come at it from a very technical and serious aspect, and there's some who come to the game in a more playful and fun aspect, so I can see how that can kind of reach people of different audiences.
Yeah, and for someone like me, I like to do both.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes just mess around, or sometimes get really technical to see, okay, how can I dismember this, or what's the perfect angle, and more into depth.
So an idea that I've seen that's been pushed in the game, whether it's been stated by you or just people within the game, is that player choice and the amount of decisions that are placed in your hands is what's very important, giving that freedom to a player. So as far as on the forums or within the game, what are some ways that you'd wish that you could kind of push that further, making Toribash a game and a community that's more deeply rooted in the decisions that you make, and it may be something you've always wanted to add or do to kind of improve upon that?
That's a good question. So you want to know what things I want to push forward?
Yes, as far as like, because it seems a big part of the game is kind of having that decision, having that choice to kind of take the game and what direction you want to go. So like, do you think that there's a way that you can like kind of better that, or do you think it's already in a good place right now?
So it's very hard now after 13 years to do major changes.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of things that I think could improve the game without just being silly or cosmetics. Such as grips, for instance. They're still very limited.
Yeah.
A lot of ideas I had on how to improve, how to make them better. But quite a few of them are difficult without destroying 50 million replays at the same time.
Yeah, cool. So would you say that you ever stop and think, like, wow, what has my creation become? I mean, you have people who have devoted 5, 6, 7 years, even decades to this indie game, people who have poured sweat, blood, and tears into creating content for this game, like replays, videos, mods, scripts, etc. I even spent long nights working on videos for Toribash and spent up to 7 hours making a replay before. So you've created something people want to devote their time and life to. So is this something that crosses your mind at all? And are there any things that you've seen people do or accomplish with this game that have even shocked you?
Yes, of course. I mean, so I checked once on YouTube and there were 200,000 videos.
Jeez.
And I was like, wow, that's a lot. I couldn't watch them all even if I had 10 lives. So that's pretty cool. And it also makes me, work a bit harder. But on a day-to-day basis, a lot of work that's keeping the servers running, doing updates. It's very normal.
All right. As far as the next area I'm talking about, I know you're working on a new Toribash Next game. Will Toribash Next feel like playing Toribash, or because of the new engine, Unity, will some gameplay elements feel and function differently? Like, will there be certain gameplay or control elements being added that will have to be learned, or will everything on the base game be very similar to playing Toribash?
The base game is the same, but the physics engine is very different and a lot more advanced, which opens up for, on my part, a lot of experimentation. Like yesterday, I'm working on the grips today, for instance. You know how Toribash, you have the big hands and then the small hands when you start gripping.
Yeah.
But in Toribash Next, the precision of the collision is so great. So if I hit your body part and then I switch to grip, the hand is smaller, so it doesn't catch what you're hitting.
Oh, so you can grab more specific areas.
Yeah, so some things needs to be fun, because it still needs to be fun and meaty and gory and juicy and feel right. And the joints are so much more advanced. It's an amazing physics engine that we use in PhysX. And it's so many small parameters you can tweak. You can make the joints a bit softer. You have 6 degrees of freedom. You have different ways of doing force or hold. So it's a lot more things to tweak there.
So you could say in Toribash Next, the kind of range of movement and diversity will be greatly increased.
As it is now, yes, definitely. So I have to even hold it back a little bit, because it's just so many things that's possible to do. For instance, I was working on this mod that had, when you press hold, it was resetting the joints to the default position instead. Which turned out to be really nice for like the backbones. So if you want to stand straight, you just put them into hold and they reset to like the default position, which was kind of cool. And also you have things like there's a different state for fracture and dismember. So now fracture, you can't really mod it in Toribash how it's going to behave. It's the joints move a bit further. But with the new engine, I made the fractures you can make a bit soft, and then if there is too much force on the fracture, it dismembers afterwards. So it looks kind of nice. Interesting.
Well, that's all really cool. So for Toribash Next, did you say that's the official title of the game, or is it like a temporary working title until the game's release?
It's the working title.
All right, I figured as much. All right. From what I've seen from Toribash Next, it seems to be kind of a good improvement upon the elements of Toribash. Will everything you can do and create in Toribash be available in Next, or will there be things that you want to get rid of or sacrifice?
In Toribash, I made a mistake, but I put the blood inside the physics engine, which in the end meant that I couldn't change how the blood behaves without changing the determinism of the engine. So now what we did in the Toribash Wii as well is that the blood is a separate engine, which means you can do more things with it. So in Toribash you have the flame forger.
Yeah.
So in the next engine it's probably going to be like a blood forger instead. So you design how the blood behaves instead of how the particle
That would be
behaves.
really cool. People can get super outrageous with it, just splattered everywhere.
Yeah, and it's fun parameters to play with, I think, more than the flame forger.
Yeah. And I think that's like really important too, is like when you're making this game, like, what's very fun about this game is the customization aspect as well, making things feel unique, making them feel like your own. So the fact that you're going the extra length to include these parameters that you can kind of tweak and customize, it kind of makes your character and your kind of experience like much more unique to yourself, and that's what I see like a lot of people also really like about this game.
Yeah, I think so too. At the moment, we had like a first playable milestone a few weeks ago. The customization parts we've just touched on, because what's most important is to make it fun and meaty.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever thought or had plans about porting Toribash Next to any consoles, such as PlayStation or Xbox, like how Toribash was ported to the Wii?
Yeah, of course. There's always been plans for that. I tried to port to, like the Xbox when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very difficult to get on that platform at that time. So we did. Eventually, we did the Wii, which was quite a bit of work.
Mm-hmm.
But in Unity, it's a lot more easy to port.
Yeah.
But that's definitely possible. So for Wii, we had to rewrite a complete new engine from scratch.
Yeah, I noticed that, how it looked a little bit different. Would you say that because Next would be on Unity, that creating scripts for the game would be easier or harder? And because I know the engine does have a lot of assets to work with and everything, so how would that affect like making scripts?
I think scripts gonna be. In Unity, there's no good way to do scripting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have your own C++ engine, connecting Lua, it's very easy and very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But so far in Unity, I haven't found a really good way to do scripting yet.
I'm sure it'll be figured out towards the end.
Probably, yeah, but I haven't found a good way yet.
All right, something many people I've heard talk about for a while, being a possibility, could be destruction physics and liquid water physics being added to the game, allowing the creation of things like water and objects that can be destroyed, etc. Do you think something like this would be possible on Next, whether on the base game or something in the future maybe?
Probably not water, because it's going to be too slow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of the physics engine is working pretty hard, and adding water, I think that's going to be too much for it to do.
But
and water is very, very difficult too. You need a lot of particles before it feels like water, almost like 200,000 particles, and if you're up that many particles, you can't really do anything else besides the 200,000 particles.
Mm-hmm. So, what would you say about like breaking objects?
Yeah, we have some breaking already inside. That's possible. I think it looks nice on videos, but when you see how they really do it, it's usually scripted.
Yeah.
So it always breaks the same place or falls the same way. So it'd be nice to make it act properly. And it's also a bit difficult with breaking, because let's say you grab something, you break. What part am I going to be able to grab the small things falling apart?
Yeah.
So I remember in Toribash we had an option for shatter. It's in the game, so you could take a body part and make it explode into different pieces. But it sounded like a good idea, but it wasn't really fun to play with. Expensive on the engine, nothing else, because you had I have one body part, now I have to remove that part, replace. It was very difficult, technically difficult to make it work and look good. But maybe something like for the environment, not as part of gameplay, but just as part of something fun. Yeah, of course, that's possible.
Cool. All right, so would you say that you're planning on reviving or adding on to the atmosphere feature that was discontinued from the base game in Next?
Yeah, definitely. We have some. We put the skybox, and you can change the day and night using a directional light.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, it looks nice, especially if you have, because you have textures with that glow in the night, so you can have textures that are black, but if it's a dark server, you can sort of see patterns in them. It looks kind of nice. So yeah, a little bit of atmosphere, definitely.
All right, so we're nearing the end of this interview. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
My pleasure.
And before we sign off this interview, I have to ask for the community. I mean, you've already given me a lot of great information, like more so than I was expecting. I was gonna say, what is new features or secrets about Next that you're most excited about?
The secrets. So far, what I think is most fun, at least for me, is the new joint options.
The new joint options.
Yeah, it makes the game a lot more interesting.
All right, yeah.
But you have to try them out for yourself to see really. But it's a lot more advanced joint options for both the joints and the grips and the states. Yeah, it's really cool. The engine is a lot easier to work with, so I think we can add features.
Yeah, without it like breaking down and getting buggy as often.
Much faster.
I was looking at the GIFs and like just the gameplay and the motions and the movement look a lot more smoother and like less kind of like clunky.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be smoother. Yeah, but from the GIF side, we're still changing the engine. How detailed the steps are. It's a give and take. You make it too detailed, and the frame rate drops a bit too much. You have to, and if it's too detailed, then the network synchronization takes too long. So it's a bit of you have to find a balance where it's like fast, fun. Still playable.
All right, once again, thanks for talking to us today. I wish you good luck on your game. You have a very
thank you very much.
You have a very devoted community. I have no doubt you'll wow us again with Toribash Next.
Awesome. Thank you very much.